Welcome back to the building tutorial, and today we'll be showing you how to make 5 different types of custom trees in Minecraft. So the first tree that we'll be making is a red leafed tree, and the first thing you need is a basalt log like this, and then you have to build up straight up just like that, as tall as you want it. And then come to the side and get some tuff, and then do a random pattern of like maybe 3 right here, 2 right here, 2, 3 right here, 2, and then 1, 2. So boom, 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 right there, and then right there. And then you're going to come on top of these things right here and put a tough wall 2 blocks up on each side of these taller pillars right here. After you have done that, you want to get nether wart block and red glazed terracotta, and then come to the side and start doing a little bit of blocks around it just like this on each side of the block, and then spreading it out, and then going like that, a little pattern like that, little pattern going out straight like that, little pattern going out another straight like this, and then another pattern going out straight like this. So you have 3 or technically 4 branches on each side just like that to kind of lay down the foundation for this main tree part of your build, and also add a little bit right here so it has a little bit more dimensions. After that, you want to go off diagonally from these branches and do another pattern just like that, going up just like that, and make sure that each pattern is about the same width and same length as the other pattern. So you don't want to go too far out because it will be a very odd type tree slash leaves part of the tree like that. So just keep on going out just like this on each side of the tree. After you have done that, you want to come over to the sides of the trees and kind of start filling it in a little bit just like this. Do little spots not too far out on each side, and make sure that things do not look crazy whack like anything like jug it out by itself. So make sure it's not like a full-on branch that's like that just by itself, but make it connected to the thing by connecting the branches together a little bit. So it should look like this as of right now when you get to that part. After you get done with that, you want to come over to the top of the leaves right here and start filling it in, kind of leaving a little spot between the branch and the top part, because you're going to start diagonaling it upwards a little bit, but making it more of a plateau type look. So you're going to come over and fill in these parts, but make sure that the leaves are kind of inwards, going outwards like that. So block going right there, and then going diagonally in towards the center. After you get done with that, you want to come over to the side and maybe kind of do a little branch going outwards, so it's not like all going diagonally in, and then kind of start going diagonally in a little bit more on that part. But also with these other branches, you want to like curve it in very quickly, because you don't want to have a huge top to the tree, because it will just look absolutely weird if you do that. So after that, you're going to come get your red glazed terracotta and start placing blocks everywhere around the tree just like this, and maybe destroying a couple blocks here and there so you have a little bit more dimension, a little bit more color to the tree. Then that should be your first little tree all done. But you can also add another little part to the tree, like going up like this from the bottom, add like that, and then do a little other layer like this, just like that, to add a little bit more dimension to a little custom tree. The next type of tree we're going to be building is a type of sequoia tree. So the first thing you need is terracotta and brown terracotta, and you're going to do line going all the way up, so just like this, going crazy far up, or as far or tall you want your tree to be. Then you're going to come back down again and do that again on the other side, and go back down, and then get your brown terracotta right here, and then go all the way to the top again, and then you're going to go back down and do the brown terracotta again all the way at the bottom, all the way back to the top. After you have done that, you want to do little sporadic lines just like this, up and down. So like these are going to be taller, the ones closer to the root or center of the whole entire thing. So going all the way up just like that to like a stopping point and then a little bit more on this side, like this, going pretty far up, maybe a little bit taller than the other one, so right there. And then you're going to go sporadically around the whole entire thing. And you're going to do it with the regular terracotta too. Do the same thing. So you're going to go up a good bit on the thing, so a little bit higher. Make sure it's not as tall. Then you're going to go back down and add another layer. Oh, it should look like this, and you have a little bit more dimension to the trunk of the tree. And then we're going to keep on doing that for a little bit until you get a little bit of a stem or trunk that looks similar to like this. So just to kind of explain a little bit more, to form these little things, you just kind of go sporadically up on how high you want it to be. Just make sure it's going smaller and smaller every little bit. So like, okay, that one's a little bit smaller than that one, and this one can be about the same size as the other one or a little bit taller, just because it's on the branch that's a little bit farther in. But I want to do a little bit smaller, make sure it's not as the same as the other one. Also, when you start going down, you see how these are a lot longer between each divide. So you have that little line, and then you have a bigger space, and then it keeps on shrinking a little bit till they are kind of a little bit closer together, just like these, where it starts making the trunk of the tree the bottom, where it's a lot thicker. So you kind of create that thickness and kind of more roundabout part of the base of the tree. Also, when you start working on the other side of the build, you can start kind of going off of this side a little bit. So like kind of going off the dimensions of this side. So where this part goes up this high, you can go a little bit taller than that. Just make sure that it doesn't go over the next one like this one, because that will kind of make it look off a little bit, where you have two blocks like this that look like it's not a tree at all, or a round tree. After you're done with that, you want to kind of go around the tree and kind of add a little bit more dimension. So instead of having like a place where you just have the line going diagonally, you can add like little branches right here. Maybe not right there. Maybe it made it look good. But the next part you will add after you've done that is the little barrier / base of the build. So you add this around here on each side of the build, just like that, on every single side, and then go up on different parts, so like this, so it's not all just one plateau part, and you can have a little bit of a base right there. Now we're going to be working on the branches of the build. So you're going to come up to your lowest part that is not connected to like one of these little limbs going up. You come right here on the side, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 blocks out, just like that. And then another 14 blocks out, but skipping a space in between them. And then you're going to go a little bit higher up after that, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You go 13 blocks out, just like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then you're going to keep on doing that little pattern right there. So you're going to go 12 for 2 branches like that. And then 11, then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And on the 3, 2, 1, you can do like maybe 4 layers, or like 4 branches of 3, 4 branches of 2, and then 4 branches of 1. So you have a little bit more of a thicker bit up top. After you get done, it should look like this, but we're going to come all the way to the bottom and start expanding these parts right here. So you're going to come to your first limb right over here and go a little bit farther out and as far as you want, but make sure like you have a lot of space at the end, just like this. So I usually do it like 3 times like that. So 1, 2 right there, and then another 2 out like this right there. And then you're going to come over to this branch and do that again over to your diagonal side, you know, the one that's on the same level as that, and go all the way out, but kind of keep a longer edge out of there. But when you come underneath here, you kind of connect it a little bit, so it kind of goes a little bit, so it just has a little roundabout like that. And on top of here, just like this, and like this, and instead of just having that, you can kind of cut it in right there. When you get up to these top branches, make sure you have like maybe 1 or 2 leaves like this. So like you go instead and then fill this part underneath like that, and then go again and then fill this part underneath, and then like that all the way to the tippy top. And after you get done with that, just kind of fill this top part up. The next thing you're going to do is come over to the tree on these first little leaves and add 1, 2, just like out like that on a couple branches, skipping every single other branch like that, and just do it like this, boom boom. Doesn't matter where you place them as long as it's 1 in between on each branch. So you will quit about right here when you get to like this one, because the 1, 2 will add too much thickness to the tree, where the 3 on are going to be the harder ones to do, so don't do that one. After you have done that and your leaves look like this, you want to come on over to the top of these builds and then start coming out like this, so you can kind of get a little bit more thickness on top. So like that, like this, all the way up to the end of these, just like that, and it should somewhat look like this. After getting done with that, you want to come over to the bottom of these trees and then kind of go over to the top, go 1, 2 from there all the way out, just like this. And then you're going to start doing a little sporadic placing, so just like this underneath these little 2 things right here. So just like that all the way over, so you have a little bit more of the hanging look when it comes down to it. To make it look like it has more detail, you can, instead of doing the lines, add the just like sporadic placing of the leaves, the spruce leaves on the bottom of these. Then when you start getting to the top, just do the same sporadic leaves, so like just like that underneath the ones that are jagging out, just like that, but make sure you have little dimensions to that. And then your tree should look like this when it comes to the underneath bottom part of the tree. Finally, you can add these little things to the side, so you can go out just like this on each side of the build slash tree, just like that, and then add the little part on top, just like here, just so it's not as line driven. And then make sure you also add the little particles on the bottom. And your final build of the sequoia tree should look just like this. Our next type of tree is going to be a variation of an oak tree, or a tree like I have on my last video on Wayward Home. So the first thing you're going to do is maybe get oak wood like that, or oak wood just like oak log like that. So the first thing we can do is do a little line like this, sporadic line just like this as the root coming from a tree. We're going into a tree like that. So you kind of put the little parts in the middle right there, and then make sure it looks good. And then you're going to come over to the side again and then do another one just like this, going straight into there, maybe curvature a little bit, then add a little bit more of a bigger base right here to the oak, and then add a little top part in the middle of this, just like that. And then you're going to come over again to another side and then do that same thing again, that same little process, but we're going to come over to the middle now and start going a little bit farther up. So we're going to start going up jaggedly just like this, and sometimes it's easier just to kind of go up like this with your oak log now. So just like this all the way up a good bit, so build up like that in the center on each single side, and then keep on kind of doing that for every single side. And then you're going to go over to the top right here, go a little bit higher up, and then you're going to have your wood right here, and then you're going to have your branches as of right now. So your branches are going to be going outwards like this, just like that, and it doesn't matter how they go, it can look like that. And then you kind of maybe want to go a little bit farther down for this next branch, and then start diagonally get up from there. Your tree should look like this as of right now. Next part you want to do is come over to these little branches and kind of build a upon these things. So kind of go on the outside of these right here. Make sure you kind of get the outside of this right here, all the way on the outside, like that, on every single side of these branches. After you have done that, you want to come over to the top of these builds and start kind of filling in this area above the leaves. So you kind of have a little bit farther out, kind of filling in the sides like that on each part, but make sure you have a little bit of an overhang, a little bit on each side. Just like this, you add it a little bit angled out, just like that. Some can just be like this, where you have 2 blocks underneath and then angle it out to add more dimension to the build. After you're getting done with that, you want to come over to the top of these builds and start placing leaves on top of the whole entire thing, just like this, and then kind of angle it inwards. Then maybe add a little bit more foliage onto the side so it has a little bit room to have the angle going in. At this point, you should almost be done with the whole entire build. So you're going to come underneath the build and start placing leaves on these little parts right here. After you get done with that, you want to come over to the edges of these branches and then do a line down just like this, like in the middle, and then add some foliage on each side, a little bit like that. So you have a little bit of a dip, just like that. So like in the middle, come down a good bit, and then do a little bit of a style, just like that. And then you maybe will have to come back up top a little bit and add a little bit more foliage so it doesn't look just all square. Also, you can add a little bit more shrubbery right here, slash foliage right here, to add more of a dense type tree to make it even look better. Because look at that, that looks a lot better when it comes down to it. But you also have to add parts underneath a little bit, so you have a little thickness underneath, just like that. And your tree should look like this when it's all said and done. So this tree right here is going to be a deserted island type tree. So you're going to get a stripped spruce log and place 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that, and get a spruce fence and come on over and place a fence right there, and then go 1, 2 up, just like that, and then come out again, and then place 1, 2 up, and then do one more like that on the other side again, and then go right there, and then right there, just like that. After doing that, you want to place your mangrove leaves from right there. So from the top, go right here, boom, boom, and then boom, 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 like that. And then come over to the other side, and then do a little diagonal right out, and then down a little bit farther than that, just like that. And then you're going to come over to the other side again, and then do a little bit diagonal down, and go a little bit farther down than that. So you have this little part, and then you're going to add a little bit more shrubbery to this bottom part right here. You can destroy that part right there, but this kind of looks like a little rough in the back, so you can add a little bit more shrubbery right there, and then right there. And then the next part you want to do is get your spruce fence again, and then come over to the side, put 1 right here, 2 right here, another 1 or 2 right there, and then another 1, 2, or 3 right there. But finally, add a little bit more shrubbery over to the side of this build, so just like right here and right here. So your build should be done as of now, and it looks more like a deserted island tree. Now our last tree is a little bit different than all the other ones because you have the corruption of this one that I kind of like. But we're going to start out with a little bit of crying obsidian in the middle, so you add about 5 up from there, and then you're going to get a lot of skulk, and you're going to have branches that go off from right here. So just like this right here, boom, right there, branch, and then another branch like that right here, another branch right here, and then another branch right here. After you have done that, you want to come over to the side of these branches and start placing around these branches right here. Technically you can use dirt if you wanted to, for these branches so you understand where the branches are at more. Then you're going to come under and then add a little bit of dimension to that just by adding the little bottom part to the branches. Next, after that, you want to come over to the edge and go 1, 2, 3 down just like that, and then 1, 2, 3 down just like that, and then 1, 2, 3 down just like that, and then 1, 2, 3 down like that. And you want to kind of encase that in with more sculpt like that. But after you get done with that, you want to come over to the top and start kind of filling in the little spaces in between and go above that and kind of add a little railing right here, and go again on this side by adding this part and then do another little bit of railing. Next part, you want to come over to the bottom part and kind of add little bits of pieces right here where you put those railings at, just so it doesn't look too flat. And then come over to the top of this one, kind of destroy some of this just so it's not too flat or too obstructing. And then come over to the top and start doing a little bit inwards dive towards the center and add a plateau at the top of this build. And this is kind of an otherworldly type tree that I like building